Hi, my name is Ram Posham. I'm an enterprise architect at Oracle. I've been with Oracle for over 20 plus years. My area of focus is Oracle data platform that includes Oracle database, engineering system Exadata, and related technologies like Golden Gate and Oracle Data Integrator. So today, I'm going to show you some quick demos on transparent application continuity, which provides continuity of applications uh, even for data DMLs when there is an outage on the database side. So I'm going to show you that. So very quickly, let me show you what I'm planning to cover in the next 15 minutes or so. So one is planned downtime. So I'm going to run a OLTP application against a RAG database, and while it's running, I'm going to shut down one instance uh, to simulate patching, and I will show you how the connections get drained and fail over to the surviving node uh, without any outage at the application level. Then second one, I'm going to show you a demo, a simple demo using SQL Plus. Within a SQL Plus, I'm going to uh, run an update statement and before I commit, I will shut down the corresponding instance and show you that the actual DML also fails over to the surviving instance. This is the first time starting with 18C, you have that capability. Uh, in the past, we just had only application continuity in the sense only the connection failed over, but it was never a DML. The third one is I'm going to run a TAF kind of demo while I'm selecting a bunch of rows from a table. I kill the corresponding instance, and you will see how the connections how the connection fails over, and also the actual rows will continue. The result set will continue to be displayed on the screen. So those are the three demos. Very quickly, I have a 2-node RAG database I created using Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. And when you create, actually, when you go to Oracle Cloud site, it will tell you this is the way you can connect to the database. This is a easy connect string, and this is the long description for the connect string. This is typically what you use in Java applications. All right, I'm going to show you that. Um, so this is how you would you would create a service whenever you have a RAG database. Uh, we recommend that you create a custom service. Don't use the default service. For example, if the database is sales C container database, there will be a default service called sales.mycompany.com, the full domain. But we recommend you to create a custom service. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to run this command and show you, all right? Then I'm going to have another client host, it's a VM, wherein I'm going to install, I already installed an instant client 19.6 version. And in the instant client home, I created a tnsteams.ora file, and I created a service, TNS service called sales.tag, and that is pointing to this sales.oltp database service that you just created in the previous slide. Okay, this is a service that we created. See this one, then after that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to install a stress test tool, nice tool actually called Swing Bench. So it is available on GitHub. Um, you can download this. Actually, this one, I'm saying move this thing, old installation. Actually, I'm moving to old directory. Then I'm downloading it, unzipping it. You can pretty much do the same thing. Then I'm going to the bin directory. I'm running the order entries wizard in command line. What this does is actually it creates this order entry schema. Yeah, this is order entry schema. When you run this, it creates that order entry schema. Then after that is run, I will just run the SQL, go against that order entry schema and show you the number of rows in these tables. Okay, that is just to just before the demo. So we are just seeding a data set into a schema. First demo, what I will do is I will run the swing bench in the command line mode. So this is the, after we created that OE schema, when you run this command, what it does is it opens up 50 connections to the database and it adds more data to the existing schema. So the customers will be populated, orders will be populated, order items will be populated, and so on. But before I run that, actually the swing bench has a configuration file. Before you run this character bench program, you need to update your configuration file. So basically, I updated that, the connect string. Then there is also for connection pool, I have a small section. So that I already did that. This is for failover, transparent application continuity. And I already did that. Actually, I'm going to show you. There's a file I created in the home directory. I will show you that. So then what I will do is while that is running, I will just run this command in SQL Plus to show you how the data is getting populated. You will see the increasing number of rows. Then this one will show you how the connections are distributed across these rack instances. Later, what I would do is in a real life, what you would be doing is you'll be shutting down an instance when there is a need to patch the rack database. You'll be shutting down that instance. When you do that, well, I will show you how the connections will fail over. You remember while the program is running, it opened a bunch of connections here, a bunch of connections here. And when you run this, these connections will be failed over to this instance. So that's what I'm going to show you. And then actually, after shutting down, you can see the service, it's running on only one instance, just to show you that. After that, what we would do is, again, after the connections are failed over, the application is still running, right? You can see the how the data is getting populated. So it will continue. So let's say now we've done the patching and now we want to just restart that instance. So we will do that. But before you do that, you can see, again, the rows are continuously increasing because the program is still running. Now, what we will do is we will restart this instance one, right? And then you will see that the connections after this instance is started, the connections will balance out across these instances. So that's what I'm going to show you. And this just shows where all this this particular service is running, this OLTP service. It will just say that it's running on instance 1 and 2. Then you will still see this one will give you the distribution of the connections actually. So how the connections are distributed across these instances. So that is the command for that. And this one shows that the data is still, growing because the program is still running. All right. Then that's the first demo. Before I go to the second demo, just in the first window, just kill that particular order entry program, right? And then we'll go to the second demo. The second demo, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a SQL Plus session. I'm going to select the credit limit for a customer. This is the number we'll see. I think there is a customer with this ID, and we will update the, we will look at the credit limit for that customer, we'll update it, and we will not commit. Okay, there's no commit. Then this one gives where this session is connected to, which instance this particular session is connected. And here we are going to shut down about that instance. All right, whether it could be instance 1 or instance 2, depending upon to which instance this section was connected to. All right, and then what we will do is we will after that is completed, after this shutdown about is completed, we will go and see to which session this is connected to, and then we will issue a commit. So when you issue a commit, obviously the change that you made in the previous session, that still fails over. So it retains that session state. So it replaces that particular update, and your update is still intact. And then you can reselect that value and see whether you got the new value or not. Okay, so let's do that. And then after that, I'm going to restart the instance for the third demo. This is that part. Okay, so the third demo is what we are going to do is we are going to open a session on SQL Plus in window 1. In window 2, you'll find out to which instance it is connected to. At the database level, we'll connect to that particular rack node, and then we will kill that instance. Basically, we'll just keep the command ready. Then we'll go to the first window. We will run this SQL, and while it is returning the result set, we are going to execute this command, kill command, and you see the query will continue to return the result set. All right, and after the query completes the result set, you can just go and check to which session, which instance actually the session has failed over. So that's what you're going to see in the third demo. All right, so that's what these demos are. So let me get started. So let me go to the first. Okay, so this is where we are going to start. So let's go and look at, I'm going to go to this rack instance. I'm going to just remove that service. I'm going to define the service. Just basically these services are saying that connection load balancing, runtime to load balancing, commit outcome, and all that. So you can Google for server control documentation that will explain on the meaning of all these parameters. So let's see whether we need to start the service, obviously. So then we will check the status of that service, where it is running. Okay, so you see that database is running, instance is running on these 2 instances. All right. Okay, very good. So now let's go to the next one. So we are going to go to the first window on the client side, and I already actually installed the instant client. So this is my first window. So here you can go to instant client, cat TNS names Fedora. You can see I got this sales tag is pointing to this. This is the scan name and this is the service name. All right, and that's what this one is. I can skip that. So then what we would do is actually these are the environment variables which I already changed. So if I go here, cat not bash profile. So these are already set. Okay. Then what we'll do is just to check whether we can connect to SQL Plus, we'll go to there and just say SQL Plus. So we are able to connect to the SQL Plus. Then let's go to Swing Bench. So again, you can repeat this if you are interested. So move that. Let's download this file. And then we will go to this. We will run this command. So it's going to populate a schema. It's going to create the schema. So in the other window, we can show you how many rows are there. So let me go to this second window. Let me run. See, it's 40,000. So it populated 100,000 customers, and this was populating orders table. And there's also order items table actually. So you can see probably it's completed. No, it's still running. So just give another few seconds. So it's populating. Probably it's creating other indexes. I think it's creating indexes and so on. So just a few more seconds. Okay, it's completed. So it took about what 48 seconds, it populated 2 million rows. These are only key tables I showed. There are a few other tables that it writes to. Okay, then what we're going to do is we are going to show the first demo. So I already, as I said, I already updated my the swing bench configuration file. So what I can do is I can just go and run my swing bench in command line mode. So what it does is it's running swing bench in command line mode, and it opened 50 connections, and you can see this is the throughput, TPS. Okay, and now in the second window, let me go here. So let me run this. This just shows you, see the additional data that is getting inserted. You see that? Oops, sorry. I need to run this again. So you can see it was 100,000, now it's 100,419. Look at the number of orders and so on. So you can see this is increasing. And this program on this window, see this is the number of connections, this is the transactions per minute, this is the seconds actually. So okay, that's going on. Now what we'll do is we will see the distribution of the connections. So go here. So you can see instance one has 22 connections to the database, and we are using connection pools. So if you add this up, it is 33 connections, even though at the user level, we got 50 connections, okay? So that's what it is, but now over a period of time, if you wait for a few minutes, actually, they kind of balance out. The connection pools checks the load, the ideal time and so on. So slowly, once it reaches a steady state, it's going to release, it's going to balance the connections, okay? So now what we will do is, we go to here, let us shut down the instance one, okay? So that is to simulate patching, okay? So let me go here, let us do that one. And when I go here on this, you can see the number of connections are reducing on instance one. Now it's completely gone. So all the connections are now on instance two, and you may see increased number of connections. But the best thing is there are no errors on the application side. You get the same throughput that you can see. Absolutely, you get the same throughput. Okay, so that's what's going. What happened? Okay, I think I pressed the wrong key. So you see there are 18 connections at the database level, though there are 50 users at the application level, and that is because of the connection pools. So now after this is complete, actually, I mean, sorry, this is still getting shut down, but there is no outage on the database side. Okay, that's the important thing to note. Application is still running. Okay, now you see it has reached 50. By the way, the upper limit for the connection pools is 50. So for a short period of time, you will see a spike in the number of connections, but they will go down once it reaches the steady state. Okay, so I shut down the instance. Let's say to simulate the completion of the patching, what we will do is we'll start the instance. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so this may take a few seconds, and then after the instance starts, the connections gets rebalanced. You can see there is no change in the throughput. The throughput is pretty much the same. All right. So just give you another few seconds. If you like, maybe you can just fast forward, but this should take another maybe 10, 15 seconds. Okay, So there's the instance started. Now let's see how the connections are getting distributed. See now, the connections are getting distributed across the instances. All right. So that's the demo I wanted to show you. When you shut down an instance, the connections get drained and get failover to the surviving instance, and nothing happens to the application because of the transparent application continuity for both DML as well as select. Okay, that's what you see. And so here again, when you use connection pools, this is expected. It checks the load on the database and how active these connections are based on the ideal time. The connections could be closed, opened, and so on. Okay, so that's what this one is. So let's complete this demo. So now let's go to the second demo, right? So that's completed. Basically pretty much the same. I covered all that. So now let us go to demo 2. So in demo 2, what we're going to do is we're going to open a SQL Plus session in window 1. So let's go here. Okay, I got SQL Plus here. So let's see what is the credit limit for this customer. So it is 5,500. You can see for this customer. Now let's change it to 6,100. Same 22,393. So let's update that. See, I updated that, but I did not commit it. So now if I select this same row, you should see 6,100, right? So that's what you see. Now what we'll do is we will see to which instance that particular session is connected to. So you go here and just run this. It says it's connected to instance 1, okay? So now what we'll do is we'll shut down about that instance. So go here and shut down about that instance. So what happens is, while that's going on, this query actually can still continue, all right? So it doesn't, it doesn't stop the application. So your SQL Plus is still running. Your session is still active. So see that it's still 6,100. So give a second till this instance is shut down. Okay. I could have killed the session, but I thought this is better shut down about. So it's done. So let's run this SQL again. So see that it is still 6,100. Now, you remember originally it was connected to instance 1. Now let's run this, check where it is connected to. See, now it is connected to instance 2. So the DML has failed over, the connection has failed over, the session state is still maintained, okay? So now I can commit or roll back. So that's what I can do. If I want, I can just exit, I can reconnect, and then run the same select and see what happens, okay? So it still retains that value, okay? So that's what this one is. So now, so I showed you that, right? Now let us restart that instance. Go here for the third demo. I'm going to show you the third demo. Let's get out of this window. Okay. Now the third demo, they're restarting the instance. So this may take a few seconds. So let's go to the third demo. In third demo, again, we are going to open a SQL Plus session in window 1. So go here, this is window 1. So we are here. Now let's run to which instance this session is connected to. Oh, actually, okay, this instance started. So maybe let me just reconnect it again. Okay, I should have waited. Okay, now I go to window 2. I just check to which instance it's connected to. You see, it's connected to instance 2. All right. The database is still, if I want to know whether it is running on all the instances, we can just check. Database. So you can see it's running on both the nodes. Okay, good. But this SQL Plus session is connected to instance 2. So I need to open a new window. So new session. The instance 2 is this one. So say minus, oops, that one is Oracle. So PS minus EF, grep pmon. So we are not going to kill the instance now, but we are just going to keep the command ready. So in this window, so this is instance 2. You can see that, right? Now we are going to run a query. That query is going to be like this. So by the way, we need to set the array size and all that. So set that. And then we are going to run this SQL. And while that is running, I'm going to kill this instance. Okay, so this one. So while this is returning the results, I'm going to kill that instance. So go see that what I did. So it pauses for a second and it continues. It returns all the rows. And if you want to know whether it has returned all the rows or not, here we can do, right? So select count star from customers. So see, it's the same number of rows, 104,512. Okay, so that's what I kill the instance. Now let's see. You remember it was running on instance 2. Now let's check, has it failed over? See, it failed over to instance 1. So it has returned all the rows and it has failed over to instance 1. After failing over to instance 1, it returned all the rows. So it maintains the session state, how many rows it returned before it failed, and after failing over, it returns the remaining rows. So that is what the third demo is all about. Hope you liked. If you have any feedback, you can contact me. All right. Thank you. And my email ID is amru.ocean@oracle.com. Okay. So that's my email ID. And thank you very much for your time today. Have a good day and good rest of the day. Bye-bye.